All right, welcome back to the IMNerdpodcast. I'm your host Freeway, and I'm here with my amazing co-host Kenny.
Yeah.
And we are going to be. Wait! What the fuck just happened? What just happened? Okay, so if you're watching this on Patreon, Kenny's picture just changed from Stardust Dragon and a Synchro Monster to Drooling Lizard, which is a reference to the first episode of our new progression series, the IMNerd progression series, based on, or I should say, inspired by what we saw from Simo and Nim Nim on their respective channels. So we're doing our own version. But if you remember Kenny's whole bit with Drooling Lizard, yeah, that's that card. It's a vanilla monster. It's a 3-star vanilla monster. There's nothing particularly special about it, but
Whoa.
Kenny was just so enamored by it.
It's fucking special, all right?
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so today is going to be Bleach Season 2 of the Thousand Year Blood War arc. That is the main topic. And then we also have some listener letters, but I think the main thing we want to get through is Bleach, this core 2. I don't know when people started using
I call
core.
it Act 2.
I like Act 2.
I call it Act 2.
I like that. Yeah, but we're focusing on that today. And I finished it about a week and a half ago, maybe, before switching to Jujutsu Kaisen. And Kenny just finished it. What, yesterday? Today? Oh, today. Okay, so it's very fresh in your mind. It's not as fresh in my mind, but I kind of did a little recap YouTube watching stuff. And so I'll say this. I went through it in a day. I went through it in one sitting, and it was not easy.
So, can I cut in?
Please interject where you need to.
I am in agreement. So, it's interesting. Most people know at this point, I'm of the mind that I like to binge my shows. I don't like watching them weekly. I find that I'm able to be more engaged. I'm able to pay more attention. I'm able to understand the story better when I watch it in a binge-like setting. There are some cases where I do like watching things weekly. For example, Game of Thrones. I like watching Game of Thrones weekly. It's long, and it feels content-packed, and when you watch it feels good. Whereas, for example, Attack on Titan, watching that weekly leaves me, it's so content-packed, but in a short period of time, and it leaves me wanting so much more at the end of each episode. I'm like, oh my fucking God, I want to watch the next one, and I can't. In the case of this Bleach season, it was really hard to binge it. I wish I watched it weekly, because I think if I watched it weekly, it'd be something I could do once a week, and I just watch it. And I honestly think I would have absorbed the info better. Now, you say it's fresh in my mind. I disagree. I binged it, but because I was kind of bored half the time, like I feel like I was like glazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my mind wandered so much during this season.
I was glazed, like.
So I don't know what it is about this particular season. Season 1 was fire to me for the 1,000 Year Blood War arc. Like I actually liked Season 1. Genuinely,
I agree.
I think
Season 1
it was good, right?
Yeah.
We reviewed it. We both thought it was good. I think that the main thing about Season 1 was that yes, it had its action moments, but there was a lot of explanation on what was happening, and that overall made for a better experience as a season. Whereas Season 2 is just straight up nonstop fighting. And while some people might actually think that that is like good, that is just a good thing to just have every episode be action packed like that with no real explanation on where the story's going, I do not.
I also think where the story did go, like, I don't know, it's interesting because overall, like I said, I read the manga, or not like I said because I didn't say it in this episode, but whatever. You know, I read the manga last year at this point, and when I went through it, I enjoyed it, but, you know, it has its faults.
Yes.
I don't know, I guess the point I'm getting to is, like, it really, now watching the anime again, the flaws really start to show themselves. Like, one thing that had me rolling my fucking eyes, and this is a problem that a lot of anime has, is where they use science. Science is almost more convenient than magic in a lot of anime. If somebody's a scientist, they're about to do some really convenient shit. Like, I don't know, create a fucking vitamin that just, for whatever unexplained, like, it gets explained, but in my opinion, the explanation wasn't good enough. Just creates a vitamin, okay, the Bankais are back. Like, I just think, and the vitamins just appear next to everybody, like.
Yeah, that was bad. that was bad writing from Kubo, the writer of Bleach. I think the entire thing of holofying Bankais, they try to explain it with, like, the way hollows work and the way Quincy's work, and then the way, you know, Shinigamis and it just wasn't well done. Like you said, they just shoehorned it in, and then they all got these little shadowy things that appeared next to them. And
Yeah,
they were like, ingest this, and then your Bankai will turn on the Quincy
and just
and
come
come
back.
back to you.
Just come back. And it's like, it leads to the thing where it's like, what was the fucking point of that plot to begin with, right? Because
Yeah.
the Bankais get stolen. That's supposed to be like a really big, impactful moment. And like, it is, I guess. But then, not that long later, a fucking magic vitamin's created. And then they also don't even need to like ingest it. If they touch the vitamin with their pinky toe,
Yeah, if they do anything
then
to it, it just automatically.
then somehow the Bankai that they no longer have gets affected because they don't have the Bankai anymore.
Yeah, it's stolen.
The Bankai soul now gets affected by this vitamin that's no longer connected to the captain. And then the Bankai goes back to the captain, and it's like... And then the Sternritters get a power-up for losing the Bankai, and they're like, we couldn't use this power-up while we had the Bankai, so it's actually a good thing that you stole the Bankai. And I was like... What are you talking? Then what was the point of you guys stealing the Bankai if it's a good thing for them to steal it back?
Oh my god! Yeah, you're making it sound way worse than I think I even could.
That's what happened.
I agree with
you.
you.
They take the Bankai
100%.
back, and the one girl like gets her wings. I think Bambi is her name, and then she's like, "I couldn't use this power while I had your Bankai," and it's like, what?
Yeah, no, it's really bad. It's actually like, when you put it in perspective like that, put it in context, it makes it worse. So the season is this. This is the entire season 2. So as you know, at the end of season 1, Byakuya and Ichigo severely injured. And so the beginning of season 2 is like those two going through a mini training arc and becoming revived almost instantly, right? Like they're just back alive and fine, but then they're just like soaking in a hot tub, coming back from that. And Ichigo's going through his own weird training arc, like just random, like this random training arc with Ichibei, one of the royal guards. But the main thing is that, like Kenny said, the stolen Bankais, that whole issue is being resolved by Urahara. So it's like, okay, now they don't have to worry about stolen Bankais anymore. On top of that, the captains are fighting the Sternritters, who this is one of my biggest problems with Bleach. I know that their power scaling is always like extreme, right? But I don't like how zero diffed the captains got in season 2. Like there was a point where multiple captains showed up to fight a Sternritter and they just got bodied. Like multiple captains got bodied by a Sternritter, and it just kind of made me wonder, because at one point the captains used to come in after the lieutenants would get bodied, and it would be like a huge awesome swing and advantage. It would be like, oh, you thought that I was on lieutenant level, but I'm a captain, and it just means it's a world difference. Like the difference between a captain and a lieutenant is supposed to be outrageous, but they started with captains, and at one point a lieutenant is like coming in to help where the captains are losing. Like the one got up to 69.
Oh yeah, that too. But Hitsugaya gets tight. Now I like Rangiku. She's one of the lieutenants that gets the most characterization throughout all of Bleach. She's in a lot of it. So I'm happy that Rangiku and Hitsugaya got to work together. But at the same time, it is insane that Hitsugaya even needed that help. Like he just was getting
he had to fuse his ice with her Ash Cat to create a wall to block the fire of Baz B. And I'm like, okay, so his ice is not good enough anymore. He has the strongest ice Zanpakuto in all of history. It doesn't make sense because in the same arc, you introduce Rukia's Bankai, which straight up seems more powerful than his.
I'm sorry. Go to Absolute Zero?
She goes to Absolute Zero, Kenny. Do they not know what Absolute... You spoke about science earlier. Do they not know what Absolute Zero means? Like, Absolute Zero is a condition of everything just being completely stopped.
Yeah. This is a good reason why I think power scaling and power scalers sometimes I think get lost in it all, because they'll be like, oh well, like they said this in the comic book or manga or show,
right?
And they'll be like, that means that they used an attack that destroyed a planet, and planets in this universe are 4 million times bigger than planets in our universe. So that means, and it's like, I don't think you realize the guy that wrote this isn't a fucking scientist, and he's just saying shit.
Like, Tite Kubo is not a scientist at all.
Like, they're just saying shit.
Yeah, and I don't think that he had Rukia's Bankai flushed out when he said that Hitsugai's was the strongest ice Bankai or the strongest ice Zanpakuto in Soul Society. Like, I don't think that both of those things were at the same time, right?
That was also another small issue I had. I wish they restructured how Rukia won that fight, because Renji and Rukia come back, and Renji, for the most part, I feel like kind of no-diffs his fight. Like, Renji comes back, and he's stronger than every fucking captain, I guess, maybe other than his captain. And he just like fucking not every captain, but he no diffs it. Whereas like 4 other fucking captains are dead now. No diffs his
Yeah,
fight.
I don't really get it. He is definitely stronger than the captains who died,
Yeah.
who got holes put through them.
And then you have Rukia though, and then she's fighting a guy. And now she just got back from the same like training rebirth thing and supposed to be way stronger. And then like she needs help from Byakuya to beat this guy. Now granted, this guy's power was pretty broken, but it just felt like one of those things where like Rukia couldn't fully have a moment. Like she
Right.
needed help from her brother. And I wish they just kind of restructured it in a way where she didn't really need Byakuya's help to win that fight. 'Cause
Also,
you know, I don't know.
so Dragon Ball Z led the charge with training arcs, and it is the reason why every anime, every shonen has a training arc to this day, right? That is the inspiration. That is the goat of training arcs, right? We're giving Dragon Ball its flowers here. Like it, bar none, Dragon Ball training arcs. It's a key part of what makes that shonen so iconic and so good. Is everyone knows what the hyperbolic time chamber is. Everyone references it when they say that, like in real life, people say like, "Oh man, I had to go into the hyperbolic time chamber." Like if I'm training for a tournament, a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, if I say that to another Yu-Gi-Oh player, they know what that means.
Yep.
Like everyone knows what hyperbolic time chamber means. Everyone basically knows what training in Kaioken times 100 or training in gravity where it's 100 times Earth's gravity, things like that are referenced throughout the arc going to Namek. So Dragon Ball Z has like these amazing training arcs throughout the entire series. And they feel like you're actually accomplishing something with the character who's going through it. Like when I watched Vegeta become a Super Saiyan through a meteor shower, when I was a kid watching that, I think I might have actually teared up, but I got very emotional watching him want to become a Super Saiyan so bad, and like it finally happening, and that he like they show you him training a lot, okay, like all his tribulations that he went through, and even when he thought he was against Frieza and how he actually just wasn't, but he thought he was like delusional about it and thought like he achieved Super Saiyan level and everything like that. And then Frieza zero diffed him. And so that just made it like, damn. And then Goku with his whole recovery during that arc. My point in saying that is the Bleach training arcs are fucking garbage. Like there's nothing to them. There's no seeing them do like a million push-ups. There's no like seeing them use their attacks over and over. Like Goku shot a fucking Kamehameha that circled around and came behind him to attack himself.
Yeah.
Like to see if he could tank his own fucking attack. Like that is an absurd concept, right? Like I don't see anything really happening.
Chad and Orihime had a training arc. They, we know they were in Hueco Mundo and they were training to whatever. They show up in the last like 3 episodes of the season, and then like they do what they've always done. Like they don't do anything new. Like they just do what they've always done, and like I don't know, nothing else happens. But like they were training in Hueco Mundo this whole time, and then I don't know, more will happen later. But it's just like, what was even happening?
Like Ichigo walked down a fucking path, like for the end. I don't like it was at the end of every episode. He was just walking down this path and struggling to get through it for like 7 episodes straight. And when he finally shows up in the arc, it's very reminiscent of Goku coming down from Snake Way. It's reminiscent from Goku coming to fight the Ginyu Force. He zero diffs the fucking Bambi girls, the fucking Spice Girls. He beats them so bad for like 2 episodes straight, which I think was way too long to see these fucking bitches constantly just being annoying brats. Like
and yet fucking Zaraki Kenpachi's fight is fucking condensed into like an episode.
Yes.
Like, I can't believe how I just feel like Zaraki got.
We can definitely get to that in a second. I just want to go in on the training thing because I just hate that like Ichigo's presence is so powerful. He comes from the Soul Palace. He's coming down and everyone's like, "Do you feel that?" And it's supposed to give you that Dragon Ball Z moment when Goku arrives, but nothing has ever made me feel that way basically since then with these fucking new shonens. Like, I'm sorry. It's just not giving that. The last time I felt that, and if I'm being honest, the last time I really felt like somebody's training arc really made me feel like they're that person was Naruto Sage Mode. Like the pain arc was the last, and that's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, Naruto
right? Like
does it. Naruto, that is a good Naruto example.
Is it like we got to give it its flowers, right?
No, that's
Naruto.
That's good.
When Naruto got Sage Mode, dog, and the village he came back to was fucking destroyed. Like when the village was destroyed, Naruto got back. It was like, yo, this is crazy. Kakashi's
Yeah.
dead. Like, people are dead. Like, people's soul have gotten taken in front. You know, Tsunadi's assistant's soul got taken. Like, people are dead. The village has collapsed. And Naruto shows up and he's just like super calm now. And it gives you that feeling of like when Goku came and the Ginyu Force, you got Jason Berta, and they're like doing all this crazy shit, shooting these attacks, and Goku is not moving, but he's actually moving so fast that no one can perceive it but like Vegeta. And it's just like mind blowing how calm and collected he is, because you know, like, this guy went through a crazy ass training arc and it's about to be on and popping. Like, you're fucking excited for this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
The feeling you get from those training arcs, it just does not translate to these one episode training arcs. Like, these one episode, like, training arcs need to be over the course of a long period of time. And I think that when I look at Demon Slayer and how Tanjiro sliced this big ass boulder in one episode, it's like, I'm not getting the feeling of the character actually becoming stronger. It's just like, you're just telling me that they're stronger.
Yeah, and they do a thing, because I think the Tanjiro thing, he was training like over the course of 2 years, right?
Yes,
but it happens for us in one episode, and I think the problem with that is like there's no build up, and that's what this happens throughout this Bleach season, is that they don't give you time to sit with things. You need to be able to sit with things that like you can become more emotionally invested with them, and like they can permeate your fucking brain, and you can think about them, and then like the feelings around the situations can grow. When you just say that like 2 years passed and like now he's stronger, and then you go, see, look, he did spend a lot of time training, we just cut it out. That's not really effective. Like, now you might say, oh, but everybody loves time skips. There's a difference. Naruto, for example, or One Piece, or even Dragon Ball Z.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, we have full video versions of our podcast episodes available on the IMNerd Patreon, as well as exclusive content.
If you'd like to listen to our full podcast episodes or find us on any other social media platforms, you can do so by clicking the link tree below.